Keep a fire burning red in a Georgia representing if it comes hard here, you know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you know, like son. Red. Keep a fire burning red in a Georgia representing if it comes hard here, you know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you know, like son. Red.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money never, money never, money never, money never, money never, money. I know what you conniving. Money, money never, money never, money, money never, money, money. You can keep your conniving money. When you've been up for a bum, you have been every morning. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, you have been every morning. Now because your money done, you hustle to tell me money. Yes, money never, money never, money, money never, money, money. Now I don't want your conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. That's all the money that me walk. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. There's one set of people getting aisle money. There's one set of people doing the thievery. Beep, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which Jah has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Quinton Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Clock Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Clock Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Comes out your son. You burn this wine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them art no kind. Comes, I say them art no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T and W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T and W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. celebrating. Because every morning I wake up and I smell the fresh air. However you do that, I know that I have reasons to be thankful. And I'm thankful for this so many years that have been given. So I will continue to celebrate. I don't overdo it, just only do it for the month of July. Right? Good. So yeah, I don't vex with me. Who vex lose? Happy birthday to those of you who are celebrating. Those of you who have had birthdays in the past, and those of you who have birthday present, and those of you who will have birthdays in the future. Happy birthday to y'all. I hope you will live long and strong. And I hope you will get all of those desires of your heart. I am not the one to judge what is a good desire and what is a bad desire. That's a matter for you and your conscience, you and your ethics, you and, as the old people say, your God. So whatever your desires, I wish you success. I wish you success. I hope you get them. And I hope you live long and hard, long and strong. And I hope that your presence will make meaningful contributions to the growth of mankind. Right? To the growth of mankind. You see, if we're existing, if we're living, if we're trotting this land, Mother Earth, and we're not making positive contributions to mankind, Mother Earth, then we need to ask ourselves, what really we doing here? Where's we purpose? Where's we purpose? What we there? We just there. Some people, as they say, eat to live, while others live to eat. We just live to eat. We just deb out like Deborah. And sometimes it's necessary to stop, look around, look back, look forward, and position yourself or get an idea of where you're positioned. Where am I in life? Where do I intend to go in life? Where should I have been in life at this stage? Why am I not where I would have liked to be? Or why am I not where my, as we say, go match, map me? Y'all know them words? Go match and map me and so on. Compatriots, right? My friends, my schoolmates, my classmates. Why is it they are ahead of me or behind me and I'm where I am? What have I been doing wrong or right? What should I continue to do? What should I get rid of? Those are some of the things that we have to do ever so often as human beings. And chart the course. Sometimes we have to drop some people. Right? I read a quote that says, if you are always the brightest person in the room, thank you for that word, Annette, my peers, right? If they say if you're always the brightest person in that room, then you need to change your friends. Because you want people who will challenge you, people who will inspire you, people who will push you to do better. Right? So, as they say, eagles don't fly with crows. Keep that in mind. You want to know where I'm going this morning? The topic this morning is emancipate your energies. I want us to emancipate our energies. I see for real. For real, I know, I recognize you for real. This morning, I've seen some extreme statements, if I can call them that, from for real. Right? I don't know what's happening in the individual's head. But sometimes when you see certain statements from people, the psychologist will tell you they're crying out for help. I don't know what's bothering for real. I can tell you for real is a good guy. He's one of us. He's supportive. It's for the people, and so on and so forth. But the first statement I saw from Fourier this morning that touched the nerve is Guyanese youths only want to lime and smoke weed, or something to that extent. Forgive me if I didn't get the quote accurate, but that is what it comes down to. Guyanese youths only want to lime and smoke weed. That's a serious generalization. I have a son who is considered youth. The definition of youth, as far as I remember, might be 0 to 35, or somewhere wrong there. I have a son who is considered youth. I have a daughter who is considered youth. I have an adopted son who is considered youth. I have a lot of folks in the Boxonian and extended community who all find themselves in that bracket of youth. And I know that the only thing they do is lime and smoke weed. As a matter of fact, of that short list I gave you just now, I don't know any of them who smokes weed. You see, sometimes in our disappointment, right? In our disappointment, someone might have handed us some disappointment. And in handling that disappointment, we label everybody with the same brush. Everybody we label with the same brush. But they say words can lift up and words can put down. The good Christians will tell, speak life. Speak life into the situation. How can we label our young people as only interested in liming and smoking weed? If that is our mindset, if that is our belief, then that will inform the way we interact with them. And that will inform the efforts we make to help them. And for real, let me show you this. Or I'm using the statement by for real. Let me make it clear, my brother. I'm not attacking you. I'm dealing with your statement. Right? The same generalization you're making by this statement, the PPP and their acolytes make a similar generalization. Black people don't like work. Black people can't manage business. Black people just rape. Black people are thief. Right? Those are they're similar generalizations. So sometimes we contribute to our own labels, negative labels. We contribute to the very negative energies which affect and impact us. But we don't see that. We see it as being self-critical. We see it as we see it as venting our frustrations. And I'm going to make a kind of comparison here. The PNC Congress just concluded, and I said it during that time. The amount of nastiness that the contestants have thrown on each other on the road to that Congress is likely to come back and haunt the very efforts of those contestants when it comes to the national election. because they have given so much dirt, so much filth, so much negatives to the opponents in the PPP. And I'm sure every single one of them was slinging mud, was convincing his or her heart that they were just venting. They were giving vent to their frustrations, vent to their feelings. They were campaigning, right? But sometimes it's good for us to stop, stick a pin, as we say, look back, look around, look forward, and ask, how is this going to help our cause in the long run? In the long run. And then the other statement I saw, you're poor because your parents failed to plan. You're poor because your parents failed to plan. Again, that's a generalization. Um, that is not necessarily a truism. There are many parents who have planned for their children's success. There are many youths who have done what they are required to do to succeed. But it is also true that at critical periods, the system failed. The system failed them. How do you explain a young, ambitious person who put in the work to get the requisite qualification and certification and even experience, but cannot get equal and fair employment opportunities in this country of their birth? How do you explain that? Is it because the parents failed to plan? Or is it because the system is a system that is oppressive, a system that is backward, a system that operates and is informed by racists? At every level. So again, these generalizations, they don't help our cause. And here, for real, like they send you this morning, I got to change my mode. Like they send you, there's no opportunity in Ghana but government. That's not true. I would say to people, I've achieved the most. I've achieved the most outside of depending on government. I came from humble beginnings. I came from humble beginnings. I hope, let me say this, I hope I'm not boring you with this discourse this morning, because it's not every morning I want to come here and cuss the PPP and cuss Big Ole Jill. By the way, I see Big Ole Jill had people fixing the hole in the middle of the day. My morning poor. Again, I don't know how these policy makers and so on think, but in the middle of the day, Big Ole Jill had somebody fixing the hole. Right? Yes. I came from humble beginnings. We weren't starving. We weren't millionaires. We weren't, I wouldn't say we were poverty struck, but we were ordinary people. My father was a farmer. Um, he worked the farm for years. I understand he was also a defense worker. He also worked in road construction. Different periods of his life, of course. Um, but he always was in the farm. My mother told us that, well, at least told me, because I'm the last of 11 alive, or who were alive at the time. I think she made conceive 13 children in total. Yeah. She said she used to go out there and sell. What he produced, she used to walk and sell. Even in her pregnant state, she walked and sold things. Good. So we came from humble beginnings. I chose academia. Most of my brothers chose skill, became tradesmen. Good. When I was finished with my secondary education, for example, I told my mother, when she was talking about work and so on and so forth, I was like, I'm really interested in working with people. I want to be able to chart my own course. I want to work for me. And I have adopted that attitude. She had some choice words for me at the time, but now. And let me tell you what they were, because I'm sure I'm educating some parents and some people, whoever looking. And especially if young people are on this program, I hope they are listening and learning from my experiences and the other experiences I'm sure. Yeah. She said, bye, if I didn't know you really didn't want to go down this, if you really want to work with yourself, I want to spend all the money for your education. Right? But then I hadn't a quarrel with my mother because I realized a lot of our parents came from the period when if you don't work with somebody, you're nobody. That is the mentality of most of our people. That is how our people have been socialized. If you don't work with nobody, or if you don't work with anybody, you are nobody. In that, they came from a period where civil service was the pinnacle. If you had a child who could have become a policeman, yes, if you had a child who could have become a policeman, a soldier, a postman, a clerk, you were seen as a family that was succeeding. Right? That was a family that was succeeding. Because their socialization, at least from the period they came, was that if you were able to work, and I'm saying it loosely, in the white man's office or in the white man's presence, you have arrived. And so I couldn't blame my mother or blame her generation, our ancestors, for believing that you got to work with somebody to be somebody. Good? So I had no quarrel with my mother. Because by then I would have gone to school and I learned about generation gap and I learned history and I, not only the classroom, but I used to read and stuff. And, thanks to Brother UC Guyana and Dr. David Hines and Dion Abrams and all the elders in this community, I was able to expand my horizon. I got to see and learn a lot of things, which a lot of other young people didn't get the opportunity to learn. Good. I have a friend, big up yourself, Shashri. I wouldn't call him by his right name. Shashri knows who I am talking about. And Buxtonians know who is Shashri. I have a friend, Shashri, who failed to live his dream of representing Buxton, perhaps the East Coast, Guyana, and the West Indies in cricket. Because what? He couldn't afford, or his family couldn't afford, a pair of peg boots. Peg boots. He needed it for bowling. But he is educated. A trained graduate teacher. He teaches internationally currently. Came from, I would say, humble beginning. His father was a shoemaker. I don't know much about his mother. I think she was a homemaker. But the point is, you cannot say that people are poor because if parents fail to plan and stuff like that, and young people just want them out, right? Shashri was one of the fastest thing when it comes to bowling. Out of boxing on the East Coast, he went to, I think, one of the clubs, maybe Martino's or one of them, one afternoon for trials. And every single one of the national players and those who were international players present were ducking and rolling and getting their stumps knocked out because of the speed and accuracy. But what? The one thing that he hadn't was that financial wherewithal, if I call it that, to go this step forward, because he needed the game that was of importance, I think, the selection, a lot of that. He couldn't get a pair of pegged boots. Are you saying that is because his parents didn't plan? No. No. If we had a system in this place that was functional and functioning and catering to the needs of the growth and development of our young people, maybe a call could have been made to the Ministry of Sports, Youth and Culture or whatever, and he would have gotten a pair of boots. Back then, we had to be depending on foreigners to beg them for a pair of boots. It is not for the wanting of efforts people fail. It is for the absence of systems people fail. Even in the UK where you are for real, and in the US where you might be at times, and where many of our viewers are, I dare argue that there are systems in place to support the potential of young people, even if their families fail to even if the family fail to plan. Just yesterday, I was talking to my brother, and he was telling me about Section A or Section 8, whatever it is, a government housing program. The government pays the rent for people who are, I'm saying it, financially challenged. We're in Guyana. Show us the Section A in Guyana, where we are the fastest growing Section 8. Thanks, Ingrid. We're the fastest growing economy, with the nastiest environment, the lowest paid citizenry, the most corrupted country in this hemisphere. Shows where is our Section 8. And then you can tell me that our youngsters are failing because the families fail to plan, or because the youngsters just want about smoking weed. I'm going to repeat. When the coalition was in government, I functioned for about 2 years, I think, as a community action officer. My task was, according to the program, the Citizen Security Strengthening Program, I was responsible for the boxing friendship area. Identify young people who needed opportunities for skill training and even a second chance at academia. And I can tell you, if I were to go and look at the records, that I'm sure that we trained out of Boston over 100 persons. Or we identified over 100 persons out of Boston for training. They one disadvantage because the families fail to plan. Many families plan within the limit of their exposure and their education. A young lady came here the other day to interview me as a community social activist, etc. And in the midst of the interview, there were two of them. They're doing the trained teachers, they're doing the teacher's certificate at CPC. Right? And one of the questions was, how does your activism help? Or how has your activism helped the people in the community, etc.? And as I was sharing just a few examples, she interjected and she said, I know it helps because of you, because of you, Mr. Amsterdam, I now have a registered business. This is a young lady who, if I remember, we sent to do catering at Sophia. Some went to Sophia, some went to Carnegie. So if I placed her at the wrong place, but we sent her to do catering. And she developed her skills. I think some members of her family were already in the catering business. And at the end of it all, she came back and she was functioning. Once you went through the training, the other aspect was you were exposed to business proposal writing, business management, let me say that, basic business management. And coming out of that subsequent, I was talking to her, I remember, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think I was directing them to go to the Small Business Bureau for assistance because they wanted to expand the business and so on. And I said, you have to have a registered business. This is a process for registering your business. Maybe I provided a formula. Today she has a registered business. But not only that, she is now at CPC training to be an educator. The family didn't fail to plan. The family was making money from catering. But they didn't understand that they can take it another level, as we say, a notch up by having a registered business. So families plan within the confines of their education. I usually say the problems we have from young people now is because the parents now did not get the quality of education that would make them good parents so that they can really impact the lives of their children. Are you saying, or are you laying the blame solely at the foot of those parents? When you have had in this country a minister of education that doesn't know her head from her toe, that implemented a policy in this country that says no child left behind. And so you have a whole generation who went through an education system where they were just being promoted out of the system. Whereas we came from an education system where if you fail, you stay back, you repeat. And the mere thought of them youngsters coming and reach a big tall grandfather in the classroom with them and mocking you was encouragement enough for you to do your best. Huh? Like I said, this morning my gaffe, my talk is let us emancipate our energies. Let us use our energies for positive upliftment in our communities. This is a period of emancipation, so we always take the opportunity to do that. We celebrate emancipation. In Boston, we start, we go public, if you want to say that, on the 31st of August. A lot of people celebrate only on the 1st of August. There's emancipation for them. But what happens after then? What happens prior to then? Sometimes I feel I'm a man ahead of my time. Rhonda said yesterday, or she was pointing out yesterday, the trappings, if I can call them that, of having to depend on somebody to fund your emancipation celebrations. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, and I will continue to say it. If you're going to have to depend on people, your adversaries in most cases, to fund your upliftment, you ain't gonna be uplifted at all. If the political parties that represent our interest have to depend on big Indian businesses to fund them, to unseat an Indian-dominated government, it ain't gonna happen at all. We as a people have to go back to the wheelbarrow principle. We like say, we ain't got it like that. Yeah, we ain't got it like that. But we have to go back to the wheelbarrow principle that our ancestors used and fund our liberation. We have to fund our liberation. I usually tell y'all that whether people contribute or not to this program, right? Whether people contribute or not to this program, it will stay on air. It will be broadcasted because, well, that is my contribution to the growth and development of our people, specifically, and Guyana as a whole. I usually tell you, when I come here, I ain't the type that say money, 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 money. Most mornings I prefer not to even mention it. And most mornings I don't even mention it. I put up the cash app there, I put up the Zelle. If you feel like contribute, you contribute. You don't feel like contribute, you don't contribute. Or let me change it. If you can afford to contribute, you contribute. And if you don't, you can well afford and feel like. Because many of us can afford, but we don't have a willing heart. We don't have a willingness to contribute to anything that will help to liberate our people and liberate us. But if we really and truly want to liberate ourselves and liberate our people, we have to fund that liberation. We have to fund that march to liberation. We have to fund the resistance because the opponents are not going to do it. Who gives arms to their adversary to do damage to them. Who knows? I'll let you all in on a secret. Yesterday, Dr. Hines announced here that Politics 101 has launched the Emancipation Fund and so on and so forth. And he asked for contributions via this Cash App and Zelle. One single human being responded to that call. How many viewers did we have yesterday? How many viewers did we have yesterday? How many of the viewers that we have on a regular contribute on a regular to this program? I can count them on my fingers and toes, perhaps. Maybe I don't even need to go down to toes. Maybe I won't even exhaust my fingers, because I'm talking about regularity, right? A month ago, 2 months ago, I think about a month ago, I asked for 50 persons who have never contributed to this program to make a contribution. I never got 50 persons in that month. Never. You notice I ain't talk, I ain't ask, I ain't tell nobody anything, because I am doing my part for the revolution, for the liberation of our people. If I have to walk that journey alone or walk that journey with a handful of people, I am prepared to do it. For the last 7 days, at least, I think it's about 12, I've had one single human being make a contribution to the maintenance of Camps TV. One single human being. But then you hear comments like, this program needs more time. Keep the lines open a little longer now. Mr. Amsterdam, you're late. The day I choose, for whatever reason, not to broadcast, I will get a whole host of messages and calls. Mr. Amsterdam, you're not on? Even if I'm broadcasting and people can't see me, I will get the Mr. Amsterdam, I ain't getting your program. Please send me the link now. I ain't cussing nobody. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying just as though you have expectations of us, we too have expectations of you, because if you play a part, then it strengthens us to do more for us. Not all of you are listening, or not many of you, quite frankly, I don't believe many of you have the boldness, the testicular fortitude to do the kind of work we do in the open as we're doing it now, for the liberation of our people. But like I said, Dr. Hines told me, Walter Rodney said, let man if you wait. You might be able to carry the 100-pound we carrying, but can you carry a pound? Can you carry 2 ounces? What is your 2 ounce in this struggle? What is your 2 ounce in the liberation of our people? I say a person doesn't have a name, but MCPB, I guess that person is a victim of the No Child Left Behind, because they really and truly, you know, they got some children can't spell the name, they only write letters. They look like the person MCPB. MCPB says stop begging. I think all this mistake education for begging. I'm begging nobody. I'm explaining Did I leave this gate open? I wonder. I'm explaining the importance of people playing their part for us to succeed as a people. And if MCPB believes that is begging, I will continue to beg our people to play their part so that we can succeed as a people. Understand that? MCPB, you are not here, for example, and somebody might reach me on the road or come to the gate and say, Mr. Amsterdam, I shot 1,000 for go to work. Help me now. Because you what? I'm going to tell you, if that person doesn't get that 1,000 to go to work on that day, that could mean that they're in poverty. Because somebody could be replacing them by the time they get the 1,000 to go to work. But you can understand that. Right? You can understand that. You think when I encourage people to contribute to the Cash App, contribute to the program, support this, support that, support the other, it's why eating get fat? I've been eating before the program. I know during the program, and I'm going to eat after the program. Because of my encouragement, there are now 8 persons, 8 of our people learning to read at the Kingdom Academy phonics summer class or whatever they call it. 8 of our children. But I'm sure MCPB is not necessarily one of us. So they will come with their negativity to discourage what we're doing. But hey, I will not be discouraged by that. I'm going to do more. Charmin Blackman said, give them more for talk. But I don't, and I address it. Why did I address it? Because I know, as they say, it takes one drop of oil to contaminate maybe 1,000 gallons of water. One drop. I know they come here and they drop those negative comments to put negativity in the minds of those who recognize or who are understanding the importance of the togetherness, the support for each other. Because in unity, there's strength. If we carry each other, we can get to that place of success. I have to open my gate because there's someone at my gate and that person has come to look after my interest. And if I don't look after my interests, then I will not necessarily have the strength to look after your interests. So y'all give me a minute. Thank you for your patience. Let me share some examples with you so you can learn and you can understand. Dr. I spoke about yesterday, well, we have been talking about the Business Expo, Business and Cultural Expo. You think I need a Business and Cultural Expo? Do you think I need it? I've been promoting my businesses since I was a boy. But they're young people. I have learned the ropes of business since I was a boy in terms of registration and bank account and trade and profit and loss account and financial records. But I recognize young people in our community. And when I say our community, I'm not specifically speaking about Buxton alone, our society, who have shown a willingness, a strength to do a thing, to liberate themselves. Because the government ain't giving them no work. And they want to push down in nobody's pocket. So they're trying to think. But I came to recognize that, hey, if this person or these people get some direction and get some support and get some guidance, they could move mountains. And so I am one always pushing for Business Expo, always pushing for business education, always pushing for financial empowerment. Y'all remember in the early when there was COVID, I hosted a Business Expo on the company road, and the police come and tell me we gotta take down the tent and we blocking the road and all kind of thing. The other day I was so proud when I saw Dixie's Cream Liqueur. I think that's the name of our business, Dixie's Cream Liqueur, receiving an award from the Guyana Manufacturers and Services Association. I think they had a recent award ceremony. I felt so proud. Because the young lady had just returned to Guyana, as far as I'm remembering, and had started that business. I think it's an idea she came back from one of the islands with. And she was, what's the word? Our business was on display at our expo. That same young lady and her team a couple of weeks ago was doing house sales. I think it was in the South Randville area. And I got a call. Mr. Amsterdam, I just buy 2 bottles at Dixie's Cream Liqueur or whatever it was. Because the young lady came offering her products, and I remember you advertising it. And you encouraging us to support. Can you understand that there are several others who would have bought her product simply because I've been promoting it? I've made mention of it. But they didn't necessarily call me to say, oh, Mr. Amsterdam, I just buy from the Galway this promote. Ask yourselves this. Is it possible that that same person Who bought those 2 bottles? Because they heard me promoting it. Would have opened the door, look at who disturbing them at the hour of the afternoon, and close it back because they never heard of the product or they never heard it from Mr. Amsterdam. That's an example. There's several others. There's so many others I can share. But you know what? A friend was telling me the other day, why you Saturday rhythms, for example, make husband, make man find woman, and woman find man. It brought people together. I am only giving you those examples to show that what you have here is a treasure trove, something that brings value to the community, something that can be used to bring cohesiveness in the community, something that can uplift and liberate the community. And so I recognize when the likes of MCPB, whatever they stand for, I got my own acronym in my head. They come and they throw their negatives. It is to say to you, hey, y'all, we left this thing to die. We want you to leave it to die. We don't want you to benefit from it. So let us kill it. Not as long as I have breath. The little contributions financially here and there will make it stronger. Will help us to do more. But here, the absence of that will not cause it to die. So MCPB, and so y'all stop. I just stop. I'm encouraging my people, let us liberate our energies. How are we liberating these energies? Right? How are we liberating these energies? You want another example? No, let me don't give no example. I might think I've done enough in terms of giving you example. I don't like to talk too much about me. How are we liberating our energies? We have to help our people to understand, like I keep saying, the importance of supporting you. The importance of supporting you. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, but did I say it's the calling time?
Oh, no, did not hear that. Sorry for that. I will call back in.
Thank you. This is how we liberate our energies. We stop allowing people to use our positive energies for their negativity. We stop contributing our energies to the negative actions of others to oppress our people. Guyana police force is a prime example. A policeman gonna come and arrest you, a black policeman gonna come and arrest you, his black brother or sister. Why? Because the officer say arrest you. Arrest you for what? The officer say arrest you. What did I do? Bana, I know you didn't do nothing, but the officer say arrest you. What about if we liberate the energy and say, hey, without due respect, I was taught to serve and protect. I've been taught the laws of Guyana. From where I stand, this man is not guilty of any breach. Please, for clear instructions as to why I must arrest this man. What about liberating that energy? Don't you have a right as a subordinate to ask your seniors for good reason why you must take an action? You go to a public agency and you dare to speak up against wrongdoing that you recognize, and they use your own. I'll tell you all a joke. I say it as a joke because it's a laughing matter for me. When I worked with the Department of Public Information, DPI, there was a particular woman who was a senior editor, maybe editor-in-chief for all I remember. But she stayed with the agency even after the PPP lost the election. As we say, she was, an agent of the past, let me say. She was rabid PPP, unashamedly PPP, very defensive of the PPP, but the Guyana administration kept her on. A period like this, I walked in dressed in my dashiki. As you all know, I love to wear my dashiki suits and so on. I had an engagement, or it wasn't scheduled, but an engagement had come up for me to go to the Prime Minister's office to cover something that was happening. And this woman will watch me and tell me, Mr. Amsterdam, you are not properly dressed for work. You are only allowed to wear your tribal clothing the day before the holiday or the Friday before the holiday. So I took a step back and I watched this woman and I said, who are you talking to? And what are you describing as tribal clothing? This is my clothes. It's representative, most of all, of my culture. And since the dress code of this agency says business casual, I don't see anything wrong with my clothing. You tell me what is wrong with it. But just understand, I'm not changing it, and you can stop me from wearing it. And we had this big to and fro for about 45 minutes, quite frankly. I will forget that the Prime Minister waiting forever. I represent him interests. Anyways, I left. I had to go. And I did the coverage and so on. And I came back to reach a letter on my desk reprimanding me. Who wrote it? A black brother. I ain't gonna call his name. It's not about them. I'm telling you about how we allow our energies to be used against us negatively. This is the Indo-Guyanese woman from the PPP past. A PPP gate, people left in place, or kept in place, I should say, instructing an African Guyanese who should darn well know the importance and value of what I was wearing, to write his African Guyanese brother and condemn him for wearing the cultural clothing. I have to say the least, we engage in letter writing for the entire day or week, because every time they send one, back one. Yeah? When they send one, I send back one. Why am I telling you this? Because I'm pointing out how we allow our oppressors our opponents to use our energies to fight even those who are fighting for us. instead of joining the fight and say, hey, that individual is standing on a principle, and I will stand for that principle. I will defend his or her right to stand for that principle. Our liberation, our emancipation can't come just by waking up and dress up August 1st, you know. Or even dressing up all year. Dressing up all year sends a message, yeah, we present. But as they say, we're the back at it for being present. What are we doing to make our mark and instill that confidence in our people? That we could live, we could win this thing. I was reflecting the other day on history tells us that Black people dug millions of yards of canals in this country and drained billions of acres of lands and so on in this country. Our enslaved Africans were used to do that. Slave labor was used to do that. But you know what? That was a time when they had no choice. Their rights were taken away and trampled upon. They were forced to dig. But when I look around this society now, I see under different dispensation our current generation being forced to dig. It might not appear to you as blatant efforts of enslavement, but that is what I see it as. All around the city, for the greater part, the only people you see cleaning gutters as contracts under this government is people looking like me, Black people. Black people. Are we reliving the enslavement of our ancestors in a modern way? Is that all that our young people can be allowed to do in this society? Or is it all that they are being allowed to do in this society? We have a responsibility to this generation, the previous generation, and the next generation. We have to pool our energies and resources together to resist the efforts of the PPP to re-enslave our people. We have to liberate our energies, physical strength, mental abilities. Until we're prepared to do that, we're going to continue to be affected the way we are affected and impacted. This is a good time for us to recommit our energies to liberation of the people. The lines are opened. 6225933 is the number to call. Let's talk. What are your thoughts on liberation of your people? How can you contribute by idea even? What are some of the things that we need to do to liberate ourselves, liberate the energies? Call it live.
Hello.
Good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Kadashi. I like how you put it this time for us to liberate ourselves. As I call it, decolonize our minds, decolonize the way we dress, decolonize the way we eat, decolonize the way we worship, and every single thing. It is time we stop fighting each other. It is time we put our energies, decolonize our energies. You went back to when the campaign was going on, the dirtiness that was slang, right? I had a young man working with me a few days ago, a young American guy, and we talked about things that was implanted in us. This young American guy said to me, I'm sure, he's an apprentice to me, I'm sure you've heard the phrase that Black Americans are lazy. He said, yes. He said, I've heard the phrase that you guys come to take our jobs away. But that there was something that was planted by you know who, the other man. But we cannot allow that to divide us. That is what this young man with dreadlocks was telling me. He said, we cannot allow that to divide us because it was planted in us. We went on further to say that you guys, when he said you guys, he said you guys from the Caribbean, former slaves, got freedom before us here in America. We started getting into stuff until in the late 80s, he said, and he is correct. This trade that I do, that people were not allowed in it, and I'm going to call it out, air conditioning refrigeration, and in Florida, Black people were not allowed in it until in the late 80s. And that came from an old man who turned to me, smile one day when I was in a supply shop, and he said, I am one who used to be coming into this supply shop, and I had to wait until the white fellas are served before I can be served. It was nothing more than a racist trade. And he said, we, the old people, make way for you guys because we kept pushing on and pushing on. And we, our people, we have to decolonize everything, every way in which we do things. We have to decolonize ourselves. And next thing you talk about our parents, and I lived that. The way our parents were socialized is to go, work, and get a pension. And when I quit my job, I think my mother blood pressure went up for a whole month. My dad was like, go ahead, do your thing. But I had a number and I had a time that I'm going to only work for people until I give back. I took my time and I said, I only want 3 more years from them. And that was it. I quit in 2 years. I quit in 2 years and I started hustling the whole thing and doing my thing. You see that young man that came by you to do your job? I was looking for someone. And I turned to a woman and said to me, she worked at the technical institute. And I turned to her and said to me, I need the best electrical student for that year. I want you to send him to get, and preferably my people. And she sent that young man, and that young man remained loyal to me until today. And I'm so proud of him. I'm trying to push him now to leave the battle and go and do your thing alone. Take the chance. We got to learn to jump. We got to learn to jump. Because nobody will do it for us. We got to do our thing. We have to emancipate ourselves. We have to decolonize ourselves in every single which way we can. And before I leave, I heard a little story yesterday from a South African doctor. She's a spiritual.
Enough. Morning. Morning, are you? Morning. How are you doing? It's another Friday. It's Free Talk Friday. It's another Friday. How y'all doing? How was your last night? How was it yesterday? Why you ain't share the live yet? I ain't see a million people yet. I need to talk to a million people this morning because I got some things to tell some people. And I want a lot of you to bear witness when I'm telling them that. Right? Morning. How was you last night? How was you this morning? How you sleep? What happened yesterday? You make some money. You did something that elevated you. What did you do to liberate your energies yesterday? Candace John, Abigail, Candace John, proper wine. Good. I see she said you're something of value. I hope it's me she's talking about. I sure it's me. Right? That's another testimony. Right? That's another testimony of how I have been helping over the years and how I will continue to help to liberate the energies. Because we have to liberate the energies. Good. You're going to encounter a whole lot of negatives. It's human, it's just human. There are some people who dwell in negativity, they live in negativity. They know nothing but negativity. Just as though there are some people live in dishonesty because they grew up there. If you look, Denise, that's why I love you, you know. I love you, I love you, I love you. You got a sense of humor. Nothing will miss you. Yeah. Yes, Abigail is proper wine. Good. Proper wine, Abby. You remember? I don't know if you remember. As a youngster growing up, well, I was in my teens then. One of the hottest thing on the market, as we used to say, was striptease or exotic dancing. I mean, we grew up calling it striptease and so on. But when pole dancing, exotic dancing was becoming popular in this society, all the promoters used to bring an exotic dancer to attract the crowd, especially crowds of young people. Good. And there was a young lady there. We used to call her T-Back Stacy. Every poster you see around the town got T-Back Stacy in it. Good. But Proper Wine Abby is not into that kind of business. She's into wine, good local wine, bark wines and so on, right? Good. T-Back Stacy was hot on the circuit. But you know what? I learned later that T-Back Stacy was doing what she was doing to finance her education. She's now a lawyer, I think. That is what I think I learned. She's a lawyer. Good. So as we say, it's not where you start, it's where you end. And in societies like these, we are very judgmental. Right? We're very judgmental. We are going to go to places like, let me don't call places. Go to the strip clubs and so on. And we're going to watch foreigners, the Brazilians and the Spanish, as they like say. Everybody is Spanish, you know, for a lot of Guyanese. They're going to go and watch the Spanish, do exotic dancing, get a lap dance here and so on and so forth. And they don't judge them. But as soon as one of your local decide that, hey, there's a lucrative market for my flexibility, my looks and everything, and so I'm going to be an exotic dancer, we judge them and we call them all manner of things. And in many instances, the young ladies are simply not into that. They're simply into the exotic dances and so on. They're not necessarily into prostitution. Good. You got to do what you got to do to liberate the energy, to liberate yourself, to come from one level to get to another. And when I say you got to do what you got to do, I'm talking about things that are legal. I was reminded day before yesterday that there's a young man out there who is selling pizza to his degree in law. Right? And so anytime you see the young man out there and he come to you and he say, listen, I selling pizza to finance my legal education. Support. Support, support, support. And at the same time, I want to say to the young man, when you acquire or achieve the height that you set yourself, do not forget that there were ordinary people there buying pizza from you as a form of encouragement and as a form of support so that you can become what you can become, that lawyer, or wherever you have set your eyes. And so you, when you become a lawyer, you have a responsibility too, to pull people up. You have a responsibility to give some pro bono service to your community, to people like myself when we're fighting for y'all and they want to lock me up and so. Right? That is how we liberate the energies. That is how we, brick by brick by brick, we liberate our people. I want to tell you all a story here this morning. I see one of the old morning classes. I'm going to address that just now. right? You see, when they want us Africans to come on here and demean each other every day. They want us to cuss out each other and bad talk each other and talk down each other, right? And we have no encouragement to each other. And they're good with that. But as soon as we start to talk empowerment, right? As soon as we start to talk empowerment, they got a problem with that. So they just come and they just call you all kind of name. I see you, what they call me a donkey. Things tight and so on. But look at who is brain. We're going to talk about it just now, right? They don't want to hear messages of liberation. But hear me. Brick by brick, we have to help each other to grow in strength so that we can resist the filthy lucre that is being offered to us in the name of we got to eat the bread. We got to eat the food. Right? Because so the youngsters are saying that, but sometimes we have to take a step backward and look into their situation and understand where they're coming from. I told you about Rochi and what my influence did for Rochi. It's funny. I'm saying it's funny because the possibility is Rochi might not have even recognized the importance of that day in where he is today. He might not even acknowledge that, hey, is the man interference make I get the breaks I got, right? There is a story I'm going to tell you. Like I said yesterday, it would appear as though the only thing the PPP government can give to African Guyanese to do is clean drains and dig drains and sweep road and clean road corner. A new form of slavery, right? Several months, about 2 months ago perhaps, an African brother came to me. In fact, he called. He said, Mr. Amson, I want to see you. I really want to see you. I said, we could talk on the phone. He said, no, this is somebody I know. He said, no, I want to see a person. I said, all right, good. This is the time. And the guy came. He's older than I am. I say young man, but he's older than I am. He gave me 7 years. Mr. Amson, I'll tell you something. I get a contract with the government. I win a small contract with the government to clean some drains around this particular area. Them banners said they want X amount of money to clean the drain. I ain't got the money. They said they're going to take a part now. This is the amount that they want now. And when I get the check, I'm going to pay them the rest. You could assist me? I said, bye, it's tight to catch in the jam, but I understand you got to eat the bread. The people them that you're going to employ from this community, and it's a Georgetown community, I think it's so Georgetown community, they got to eat the bread too. I'm going to squeeze and I'm going to give you this money. With the understanding, because that is the offer the man make. He say, by the weekend, by the Friday, I think he came the Monday, he said, by the Friday, you're going to get back this money. I say, all right. I give him the money. I get a photograph with him on the contract and tell you all the way this thing, I don't take anything for granted because of what I do. I will never forget what the PPP did to the Monroes. They used one of their own to go and sit with them and start a conversation about how bad the government is and so on, and recorded them and accused them of planning to overthrow the government. And so I'm very careful. So any y'all who's scheming, understand I'm very careful how I deal with people. And so I want nobody accuse me of giving people money to overthrow the government or giving people money to do this bad and giving people money to do that bad and so on. I ensure I asked the young man to hold up the contract, and I took a photograph with him holding the contract. So at least the photograph could correspond to the day and time when I give you the money. There's evidence to me to that we had some kind of transaction happening. So I gave him the money. The Friday came and went, I didn't get the money. I don't really bother people. I give people fair chances, man. I know this government, this thing, they don't pay right away and so. 2 weeks after, I called in the man, he ain't answering. WhatsApp, he ain't answering. I left him a message. You see the phone ringing, so you know it's in there just calling, so you know you get data or access to the internet. And he responded. I left a message. He responded and he said, man, I'm sorry, but the first payment I handled it badly in that it wasn't enough to return your money and so on, but by the next week you can get your money. I'm telling you, it's about, might be approaching another month. Just the other day I messaged him. I said, I messaged him. He messaged back, you're going to hear from me in a day or two. I ain't hear nothing yet. But do you think I'm griping over that money? It's money, yes. It's money I can use, yes, for several things. But I'm not griping over the money. I am telling you that story, and I know the person listens to the program, so I hope they're listening this morning, so that we can understand how it is we put ourselves in difficult positions and put others in difficult positions. Because here is a genuine effort from my resources to assist you to grow your strength, to liberate you, and liberate the people you will employ in this process of liberating itself. But what did we get up until now? I see it as selfishness. I see it as a lack of knowledge. I see it as small thinking. Because here what happened. You don't know if that money is part of or all of a revolving fund for situations just like those. And so this person has either taken all of a revolving fund that can assist people like himself who need that kind of support, right? Or some of the money that can assist people who need that kind of support. And so what that person is doing is weakening the effort, putting others at a disadvantage. And why they're putting others at a disadvantage? Or people said twice bitten, once bitten, twice shy. Dr. Hines like to say, me not make water carry me lap 2 times. And a lot of people ask me what that means. It means that the mistake you made the first time, you're not likely to make the second time because, as we say, once bitten, twice shy. Me not make water carry me lap 2 times. So if somebody else comes to me for that kind of assistance, the possibility is I can send that by. Even if, as old people say, even if I paid any money, I might send that by. Good? So what this individual has done by his action, or in many instances, his actions would result in, nobody wants to trust, or I should not want to trust somebody who comes to me and asks for that kind of assistance again. And so the genuine people would need that kind of assistance. But who's to say they will get it because of that kind of behavior? And like I said, note, I ain't griping about the money. I'm teaching us. I'm explaining to us. I'm showing us how it is we defeat efforts at liberating ourselves, small efforts. Because one of the first things we are, they're banning the opposition, they're banning access to the kind of money like what the PPP got. Them man can't do none for nobody. but there are little things that we can do for people. And we can do more if we strengthen each other in the process of doing. Wouldn't it have been better if the person took that money, did the contract, pay the workers, and bring back something extra with that capital which was injected into his efforts? It would have grown the fund. And so we would have had more to share with somebody who needs the help again. Good? So we have to, like I said, liberate our energies. We have to liberate our energies. We have to stop thinking self only. We have to stop thinking self only. And even as we empower ourselves, we have to empower others. Them banner lazy, that's why them banner they ponder all the time. I come from the same background. I'm a multi-millionaire now because what? I get one contract and I make sense with it. And the people them giving me work. But did you take the opportunity to sit with any of those who are not getting a contract and say, but hey, this is what you might be doing wrong. Try this. This is what you might be doing wrong. Try this. I remember, and this is an experience I need to share. When I started when I registered my business and so on, CAMS Universal Services, way back in the early 2000s, and I started tendering for small contracts in the NDC and in the village and in the region and so on and so forth. And I started getting work. Handel Garnett, Andy, God rest his soul, was by then. Andy is an older guy, but we grew up around the same space and so on. And he came to me and said, hey, any contract you get, big or small, and you want me assistance, call me. Me get equipment, me go help you with. No make nothing back you down. And he gave me that encouragement. And I think there was at least one instance where Andy had to pull me out because I was doing a bridge and I didn't that attended for a bridge and didn't got the kind of machinery, and Andy was able to, come and use his machinery at a rate, of course, and so on and so. That is how we grow each other. We complain about how the other people are getting all of the contracts. And when we say that, the government said, but is they got the equipment? They got the equipment. A lot of that argument is not necessarily true. Because the African Guyanese who have equipment, look at the Courtney Benz and so on, that they're not giving contracts for whatever reason. Good? But the other people at various points in time pool their resources to go after the multi-billion-dollar contract. The what do they call it? The contract that the Mohammeds was a part of, that the US cautioned Exxon about, and the Mohammeds eventually had to pull out and so on. There were at least 3 contracting businesses. At least 3. Mohammeds was one. I think there were at least 2 others with them who had to come together as, I would call it, a conglomerate to tender for and get that contract because of the magnitude and the magnitude of resources required. With the attitude that I just described from this young man, a lot of us say, who, me? Your partnership is a linking ship, mean doing nothing with nobody, right? When you see examples like those, sometimes you say, the man had an experience, and that's why, right? We have to recognize the harm we are doing to ourselves. even in this emancipation period going forward, when we adopt certain attitudes of selfishness. Good? We have to. And to fix that, like I say, education is necessary. And so when I come in the morning, like yesterday morning and this morning, I'm talking certain stories. It is not because I want to berate anybody, but I want to help us all to see the error of our ways. I'm not perfect. I know Christ because according to you, Christ was the only perfect man. I am perfect. I'm sure I might have my feelings here and there. People, you're free to point them out for me. I don't want to do it publicly or privately is a matter for you, but I would like to know where my feelings are too, because I want to grow in strength. Because if I grow in strength, then I can lead in strength. Good. We're talking about liberating the attitudes. Now back to this early morning class. I see it's about three of them now. Right? Let me start with one of them who say, Mr. Hassan is telling lies. I challenge a person to point out the lie. Just as how the text I tell a lie, identify the lie that I'm telling. Because in 2 minutes' time, I'm going to block you if you can't tell me who is the lie I'm telling. Right? Shem Jaru said things tight. If things tight, it is because your government, people looking like you, make things tight in this country. Right? They mismanage our resources. They steal it only for their friends and families and favorites. Nigel Hughes posted about a day ago, it's so long, the amount of money that this country earns daily. I think it's about $3 billion or 30 billion, something. The amount of money that this country earns from government takes out 300 million more from oil fund. This country earns from the petroleum industry, from Exxon, let me say, we like say Exxon. Good. But you know what? He pointed out the amount of money that is earned on a daily. And he's also pushing right now, according to that article, for cash transfers to be an entitlement of every Guyanese by law. By law. Question where all this money that is coming to this country is going. The so-called vice president got up and said, money is going to three sectors. Three sectors. Education, public service employment, and some other one. Why is the doctor calling me now? Yeah, give me a minute. Really, I'm on program. Good, will do. That's one of our folklorists. Yeah. He said the money going to education, public sector, wages and salaries. I can't remember what is the other one. Maybe health. Let us do an assessment. And I hope Nigeria will eventually do that assessment, or somebody else will do it, of where in those sectors the money is being spent. And who are the contractors benefiting from the spending of that money. Let us also ask ourselves if the areas in which this money is being spent, according to your vice president, are really and truly priority areas. And then Jaru could come back and tell me why things tight. Ask the private sector commission how things are tight. And let them explain to you why things are tight. Because they've been complaining too. I don't know if they've said it in those words or in these words. Your government is mismanaging this economy. When your local businesses have to be complaining about the advantage, unfair advantage, that is given to foreign businesses like the Chinese enterprises and so on, over them, is a clear state of your government mismanaging the economy. When local nurses and doctors are getting next to nothing as remuneration for their services, and working right beside them are foreign nationals like the Bangladeshis who are getting 3 and 5 times what they are earning, is mismanagement of the economy, is ill treatment of the locals. And so that's why things tight, Shem Jaru. Or those are some of the reasons why things tight. Apart from the dishonesty of your representatives in government. They're stealing. Jagdio, your so-called vice president, only yesterday admitted that there are serious issues of corruption in the awards of contract, etc., under his government. Previously, we would have heard things like, show me the evidence, bring the evidence. But here it is, an admission that corruption is rife under the PPP. He didn't say it clearly, but like I say, read in between the lines and at the side of the lines. There's an admission, quite frankly, in my mind, that many of his ministers of government are involved in the corrupt practices of insider trading when it comes to contracts and influencing when it comes to contract. Jagdio, you have vice president. Go listen to this press conference. And then come back, Jadu, and explain to us why things tight. You want to know how tight things are under the PPP? In the last few months or so, teachers were caught hustling weed. Soldiers were caught hustling weed. Policemen were caught hustling weed, among other things. Fireman. Just yesterday, or at least the news was published yesterday, was caught hustling contraband alcohol. What does that say to you? It says to me, at least, that things are so bad with public servants in this country. Public servants are equivalent to federal workers in the US and elsewhere. Things are so tight with them in this country because the government is paying them starvation wages that they got to do several different types of side hustles, most or all of which fall into a realm of illegality. Yet we're getting how many $1 billion a day? And the people ain't feeling it. And so crime is on the increase, petty crime is on the increase, major crime is on the increase, and so on and so forth. When even in your law enforcement agency, like the Guyana Police Force, way up to the top you have corruption and financial impropriety happening. Money laundering, as it is said, happening. Those are clear signs that the government of the day is mismanaging the economy. It's putting people under financial stress and strain, and so people doing anything for eat a bread. So things in tight, Shem Jaru, because people are not doing anything in this society to elevate themselves. Things in tight, and I know you were referring to me. Things in tight with me, Shem Jaru, because I do what I have to do every day. Without the help, well, I can't even say without the help of this government, because who knows how their failures help me to achieve what I set out to achieve when I set out to achieve. Failures could be a positive thing, you know. Right, Shem Jadu? And I see the response from I was Shem Jadu. Anyhow, like I said, when you don't come here and bring anything, I send you back where you were to do nothing. So Shem Jadu is gone. Vishal Prasad said, "You're a blatant liar, Mr. Amsterdam." I gave him several minutes and he said 2. With my counting, it's 6 minutes now since I asked Vishal to tell me why I'm a blatant liar. And I'm looking for the response. I ain't seen none yet. And since there is no response from Shem Jadu, Vishal Prasad, you know, he too gone. Jen said the coalition is no different with corruption. I disagree with you, Jen. I think I'm going to block you too, because I saw a comment earlier that I got to look at. The coalition is no different with corruption. I disagree with you. I will say that the coalition had corruption. Every government, let's not pull wool over our eyes, every government is going to have some level of corrupt practices, because it's mankind we're dealing with. It's not everybody ethical. It's not everybody could see temptation, be strong to resist. There was corruption in the coalition. I expect in any other government that they form, even the new government, whatever form it takes, there will be corruption. It's a level of corruption. It is the blatant nature of corruption. It is the damage that the corruption is doing to the society. That is what is concerning. And if you were to check that, if you do a comparative analysis between the PPP and the coalition, of course, you will come to understand that the PPP takes the crown. And in taking that crown, they're destroying the fabric of this society. They're destroying the fabric of this society. But folks like Jen, they come here and they try to justify. They try to defend the PPP corruption by saying, well, the coalition, they corrupt too. Because previously, their generations were prostitutes and thieves. You should accept prostitution and thievery, or you can light a candle, stop causing the darkness, and work to change it. Unless you're contributing to that change, goodbye, Jen. I want change agents, not people who are supportive of the foolishness that this government is doing. My encouragement again is, let us liberate our energies. Let us talk about these things that are affecting us in the communities. Let us talk to the people who are doing the things that are affecting us in the communities. I come into home, Buxton. I love boxing. I love me boxing people. Y'all know that I would die for them. But that doesn't make us a community that is all virtue. We got we bad attitudes. We got we bad attitudes. We thrive on the boats that boxing people stop train. Right? One of the things I would like to see Boxonians exhibit is more camaraderie, more togetherness, more determination to win. We got a Chinese store at Boxton Public right now. We have a Chinese store at Boxton Public Road. And I'm encouraging our people because I see them rushing in droves. I go there. I went there a couple of times. First and foremost, to see the merchandise. And secondly, to buy things that nobody in Boxton got. And that is all I will buy in those places where I can't get in Boxton. Regardless of where I am. And those around me will tell you that. As I say, your gas light could be on. My gas light could be on. And once I calculate that I could reach Buxton, is Buxton I buying my gas from. I don't care who said expensive. I don't care who said what. But it's Buxton I buying my gas from. If I'm hungry, as much as I could bear it, and I want to buy food, is Buxton I come in to buy my food from. I want more of us to appreciate, adapt that kind of attitude. And I'm repeating it. Simba is one of the leading distributors of beverages and grocery and so on in Buxton right now. Simba on the line top. Yeah? Even if it's $2 more than the Chinese. Yeah, support Simba. Support Georgie at Company Road. Georgie is the first man, I think, to start a mini mart in Buxton. A mini mart, a mini supermarket, whatever. Self-service. Yeah, support them. They got his by Fox on the box. Well, he is on Anandley Lighter, but he's Buxton bread. Fox. I look at Foxy, I'm proud. Foxy is selling perhaps everything that the Chinese selling. Support them. Because at the end of the day, if your house on fire, those are the people you expect to run and help you out it. And I'm saying house on fire figuratively. Right? If your house on fire, those are the people who you will expect to help you to put out that fire. But if you withdraw your support from the businesses, then you're weakening them. And when the time comes for them to be able to lend a helping hand, they are so weak that they can't lend you no helping hand. And the people who you have strengthened with your support don't have any interest in lending you a helping hand. I've been making an argument to you many times, and I established it again just recently. A lot of people believe that the Chinese supermarkets sell cheaper than many of the village stores and shops and so on. That's how they start. It's a bait and switch kind of thing. They start you cheap and sweet. They start you cheap and sweet. And then they jack up the prices, as we like to say. And you don't even realize that you're paying jacked up prices. Because you got this concept in your head that Chinese cheap. Stick a pin. Stop. Pay attention. If you want to do the comparison, you will find out. I was looking for a particular product 2 days ago. Every Chinese store I went to had the same price. Every Chinese store I went to had the same price. Why? Because they collaborate. They meet, they sit, they discuss. They set their price. Every single one of them had the same price. And because I know suppliers of the particular product, I called around. And at least one local person who was in the business had it for $100 less. Had it for $100 less. Proving my point. Chinese don't always get it cheaper. But even if I had to pay $100 more, even if everybody was selling it for the same price as the Chinese, my choice would have been to buy it from the local. Understand that? Please understand that. Strengthen your own. Support your own. A time might come when they will be able to compete effectively against the other people and bring the price down. Let us liberate our energies. Brick by brick. Brick by brick. I fix you, you fix somebody else. I fix you and you're able to do the fixing. Strengthen me to help to fix somebody else. And then you will see the strength that we possess as a people. The lines are open and it's going to be opened up to 8. Then we have some guests and then we are going to go back to regular programming after. 6225933 is the number to call. How can you help to liberate the energies, to liberate our people, to strengthen our people, to get rid of the monkey that we call the PPPRF back? Call your life.
Yes, good morning. I do hope I get a clean reception this morning. Good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana, Flats Garden. One time when I was in Guyana, and this is our big problem, my grandmother teach me, always spend your money in your neighborhood, my grandson. That if one day you need something and you don't have that money, they will give it to you because you're always supporting them. One time I was in Guyana, and I wake up early to go and buy tennis shoes for the kids and go to school. I said, yeah, I'll go sleep late. And when I got to the store, there was a line. So I wait my turn. But there was a lady sitting down on the bench. So when I go up there, because the lady always come and spend money. And she said, you see, she sit down there, but she don't want to come because when they get the money, they go and buy at the Kuliman store at the back street. And when they don't get money, then they come to me, but I will give it to them because of the children's sake. And the children, they must go to school. So I said, take her in front of me. And she called her and I said, madam, call for you what you need. I'm going to pay you for it. Kenny's roll, cheese, sugar, curry, and chicken. Yes. Black people got to learn one thing in history. You got
Why they got an algorithm like when Flash says certain things, it is just not here. Right? It's Uganda, you know. And that's an important point. The Chinese don't give you credit. The Chinese wouldn't give you credit. The Chinese, you don't have a relationship with the Chinese. You could buy from the Chinese all year. You got no credit to get from them because you ain't got no relationship with them. They ain't building no relationship with you. And the same is true for other people. Let me tell you something. Y'all ever know Chinese give away money or forgo money? I went into the Chinese the other day and the newly opened Chinese at Buxton. And my bill came up to something with and $20. Chinese said, don't bother with the $20. What is that? It's a bait. It's a bait. I could lose 20s now because I build in a relationship or a business relationship. They're going to come back and say, eh. And then a time will come when Chinese can tell you, I ain't got change, take two, sweetie. I ain't got change, take two, sweetie. You gotta be woke. Y'all have to be woke. The village shop man might insist that you give you $20 because you're a small business you running, and $20 means a lot to him. But when in the dark of the night you want a candle and you broke, you could go and get it from him on credit even. So it's not always about the $20 or the $10 more or the $100 more. Yeah, people say, hey, this add up. But what about the social relations adding up or building up? What do you like?
Morning, Kadaki. I hear this sweetie thing about the Chinese. I want people to start gathering sweetie and carry to China and tell them they ain't got money. They're going to pay they're going to pay with the sweetie China gave them before and pay for certain items with it. Accumulate them sweetie and go and pay China back with them. There's not legal tender, so China giving people that for China got to find the money. Number two, I am certain Chinese have never helped, across Guyana, never helped any community in any outreach, anything, nothing that they have to give back some of that money. That money always goes out of the country and stays around Chinese circles. They don't even come to Mr. Kadaki and sit down and drink a beer. They will not even come and sit down and drink a sweetie, a soda as much. And something the government has to do is that when these foreign companies coming in to a country to establish business, let them put down in paper what are their social responsibility, what will they do for the community that they are going in to set up a business. Because when you go into a business, a community, you're taking from that community. What are you going to give back? That community is supporting your business. What are you going to give back? And if you ain't got no proper plan, you can't come around the community, boy. And community leaders need to find out that too. Community leaders need to be involved for every business, foreign business that is coming in to your community. Find out what are they contributing back to your community. Even if a community, even if a business come from Allendale coming in to Buxton, let me hear what you giving back over here, buddy. Right? These things gotta happen. We gotta get serious about these things and stop supporting those who are not supporting you. Support your own. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225923 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. Let me remind you that Sunday we got it going on. Sunday is a big talali at Club Twilight. It's Scam's anniversary, and so we're doing a big free up. Good? We got a big free up happening on Sunday. It's lunch and line. So come down on Sunday and let's hang, let's rub shoulders, let's gaff, let's eat and be merry. drink and be merry. Quarters, meat, food on the house. Just support the bar. You have to buy your alcoholic beverages, especially at the bar. Right? But come down, even if you can't afford to buy anything at the bar, come and yam man. Come let me eat and gaff. We must commune as a people. Where two and three are gathered. Call it life. Let me give each other strength.
Talk about it. They're going to be sold out. Anyway, now you are talking about, or repeat, about young people. Now in this time, young people in Guyana don't really have the outlet. Remember way back when we had places like National Service, children who didn't do good at school end up in National Service, but replacing National Service is all over the place as super beds. And the super beds is where many young people who cannot get a job, who did not do good in school because of the No Child Left Behind. They went through the school system and they didn't get anything. Then they got some of them who came through the school system and achieved subjects. When they applied because of the ethnicity, they are not being given jobs. So they become despondent. And the only thing what they decide to do is to visit the super beds. And then some of them go on to do whatever business. The most lucrative business we all know is selling little weed and stuff because they don't find anything. And what I pray for and I hope we get this installed regime out so that we places where our youths can go there. If you come out of school, you got things to do and take the youths off the road. Now everybody know I got this major red group. And I look into the area of drama because the first time I did put on a concert, when I saw the hidden talents of children, I said, don't matter what it costs me, it's my own venture, I will do it. Last year we had some boys, big boys, teenagers, and they did the little drama, they didn't want to do anything. But this year another bunch, because every year some does stay and some does go. This year another group come and one of the boys in the group said, Auntie, we gonna dance to you. I was glad. Then he turned to me and said, Auntie, what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a skit for you. You know, when we as big people get children, we're supposed to see the potentials in those children. And when you see the potentials in those children, you work with them on their level. It may not be what you want. You let them do what they think they could do, and then you bring it out with them. And when you got children with you, you must learn to reward them for whatever they do. And once you can find, a reward for children, you will get into the children, you will see the potentials, and you can at least try to bring it out. When you bring it out to the point, you need other people now who will take the baton and run with those children. And once we make up our minds to do that with our young people, it will be a turning around. And we will once have children who are like us. Because when we grew up, we were a set of children had to be respectful to our elders. But in this generation, that doesn't happen. Because in these places where they go, these places like the Superbet and these different games, when you listen to the language content of these games that come up on the phones and the tablets and the different things, are contents that teach them to disrespect the elders. Because many of those programs came from children who didn't want to be governed. So in that we have got to come out and instead of cursing them and talking all the thing, see how we could reach across the age gap to work with them and see we get a better bunch of young children who will become greater adults when we pass. And in so doing, we'll be able to regain children, will regain respect. We got to teach them to respect elders. And we will go down the road and go up the road of pulling our children out of the mire that they have been placed in. Bye bye.
Thank you for your call, voice note.
Good morning, Kadaki, and all freedom fighters walking behind the scene and in front of
This is
the
a whisper
scene.
note.
Kadaki, I must big up my signs for keeping up the fight with emancipation. But most of you got to do footing. You got to go talk to the young people, and let them know history is all about. Guys, when I come out here, then I really follow up certain things for now going on
Good
in
morning,
the
Kadaki,
country.
and all freedom fighters walking behind the scene and in front of the scene. Kadaki, I must give up the signs for keeping up the fight with emancipation. But most of you got to do footing. You got to go talk to the young people, and let them know history is all about. Guys, when I come out here, then I really follow up certain things for now going on. Good morning.
I am playing a voice note. I'm sure you can recognize that. Yeah, wait, no man, no.
What I'm trying to say, Buxton is like where I live in Barbuda. It's just that the difference is that it's black people. The people over in Barbuda is trying not the Antigua government get over them for run this show. And one time I could recall that the Antiguan government, even though it's different prime minister and so, the win over here, but is by taking taxpayer money, because remember it's taxpayer money, and like buying out the people them. And from the time they win, they do certain things, but I won't really lament so much because as a foreigner, because most time, the government, you know, them is try to favor we as foreigners. It's just that the people that move east now is try to prevent from too much of foreigners, even though we same race, different nationality from coming to take over the taking over power. So same thing with Buxtonian. It's just like Barbadian people. Say I gotta stand up and try not let the pressers, people is coming many form of wolf clothing, try to see how they could get through whoever is weak. Want to get to the others. One time it as a tell it up in Barbados, it never happened again. Because as soon as that happened, what the government come over to do with the people, them please of like push certain things down to the people throat within they want. So it is good there, Buxton and the rest of the nation, people them there in Guyana, could able to stand up.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Thanks for being very, very informative. The current government, the reason why they wanted to get into government so bad in 2020, you're seeing it now. They just wanted to siphon off the wealth from the natural resources to themselves and others. And the Guyanese, some, not all the Guyanese, but the majority of Guyanese just sit back and said we can't do anything because we are afraid. Guyanese people stop being afraid because by the time these people get out of power, there will be nothing in the car for. Nothing in the car for. People struggling in Guyana. Poverty's on the rise. And this government just don't care. They live like the rich and famous. They're so pompous in what they're doing. Look at the police force, the hierarchy, the police force is corruption everywhere. Corruption everywhere. If Ray Charles was alive, he would have been seeing to the corruption. These people they don't have no shame, and the opposition. Thanks very much to Mr. Hughes that he's bringing out certain things. The other party they have is Mr. Norton. They should don't be on the social media alone. Go talk to your people in the streets. You can't shoot everybody down.
Karaki, good morning to you and your listeners. Karaki, I doesn't have nothing against Chinese, but there is some people they do give, they do lend, they do spend, they do take part in nothing. A Chinese man in a strange country, he will suck the country dry. That how the Chinese and them does operate. But anyhow, have a good one.
My name is Amsterdam. Me and Chinese around for the same thing. I change here to get $10. Me get $10. And I stand up there and I demand my $10. I said I need my $10. And we had a problem. We had to find the $10. We got a store in Linden. Most of the thing is $2.98, $2.95. It share $2 and $5 change. But when you go and shop, they never get it. The Indian man mean he's get it wrong for though. I said I need my $2 or I need my $5. I need my change. Once you set your item at them price, you gotta give $2, $5, and $10 to give people. So we get wrong for it. And I have to let you know if 100 of we come in the store every day and leave $2 and $5, how much profit you making out for we black people. Right now, in we area, is 2 Chinese stores set up. 2 Chinese stores, and there's the thing about we new face. We got a big supermarket in the area, so everybody heading to the Chinese. But you know, I stick right there at that supermarket. It's owned by a black businessman, and he got a lot of employees, and if he don't support, he can't pay these people. He's start losing them because business ain't blooming. So I do stick right there. Right there. People might say I'm racist or this is not racist. I'm spending my money. Even to the other tell somebody, as I watch, I shopping at the supermarket all the time. There's people who I know. And if I come down 1 month and I can't get me grocery, I know I could go to the boss and say, well, trust me, some goods still paid it. But I can't go to the Chinese supermarket and say, trust me, some goods still paid it. And that is what people don't understand. Since a new Chinese shop open, they forget the old business people. And I even have to explain to a man. I said, we got to shop from these corner shop, you know. I said, if we don't shop from these little corner shop, the business will never grow to a big business. And I show you the supermarket was a little shop. And it turned supermarket. And now one. He gave us 4 or 5 supermarkets in Linden. I says because we support him, that's why his business grow. But now that the Chinese spread off in Linden, everybody run into the Chinese, Chinese. And all the Chinese doing is collecting your money, jump on the plane and go back to China, then send back somebody else who come and do the same business. And there's what people don't understand. We Guyanese new face.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I have a few questions for you. Do you think that Mr. Norton should replace uh, the current parliamentarians, the ones who didn't make his cut, with the ones that make his cut? And I recently saw a contract was awarded in Buxton to someone named Colin Talbot. Is this person Guyanese? And if he's Guyanese, where he's from? And another thing, I don't know if you can answer this, but if is Mr. Nigel Hughes a U.S. citizen or what's his status in the U.S.? Thank you.
They're trying to bait me, but I don't run from a good fight. I can't tell you what Arby Norton should do. Arby Norton is the leader of the opposition. Arby Norton has to assess his parliamentarians and determine whether or not they are pulling in the same direction he's pulling in, determine whether or not they are working towards the same goals, determine whether or not they are effective and impactful. So, regardless of I think if who should get recalled or not, doesn't matter for Arby Norton to assess, right? I know even in your own home, sometimes you have to change the responsibilities they give to people because you recognize new strengths in them or weaknesses. So there's no harm in quote unquote shaking up the people around you so that you can give them new challenges. I don't see any harm in that. I don't know if Nigel Hughes is an American citizen, but I know Nigel is smart enough. Why I asked him a face. He has been in the legal fraternity long enough to understand the laws of Guyana. As far as I know, there were a number of parliamentarians who were made to resign from the National Assembly because they were dual citizens, right? They had citizenship elsewhere, and the law, according to my understanding, it came up in the courts when Charan Das did that no confidence vote, is that you really and truly can't be a dual citizen and sit in the National Assembly. So I don't think Nigel is such an idiot to be an American citizen and want to run for leadership of this country, whether it's president, prime minister, minister, whatever. I don't think so. Now the question about Colin Talbot, I'm sure the caller knows what the caller is asking. And he has the answer already. That's why I said they're trying to set me up or bait me. Colin Talbot is Buxtonian. We are proud of him. Well, he's Buxtonian. I will stand in his defense any day as a Buxtonian because that is what we do. We defend our own. Colin Talbot is Buxtonian. I'm not sure about the contract that the call is talking about. I can't say what the award is. I don't know because I'm not paying direct attention to recent contract awards and so on. Good. So you asked the question. I've answered. Colin Talbot is Buxtonian. You want me to say more things about Colin Talbot? I really don't really care to say more about Colin Talbot. Good. I'm sure there are lots of Buxtonians who have their fights with Colin Talbot. But he's Buxtonian, he's one of your own. But as we might say, he might be one of their own too. Anyways, I said we were going to have a guest, and the guest has been waiting. And let me be fair to the young man. Good morning, Mr. Fraser. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you for your
being here with you
patience.
this
I
morning.
saw you come into the waiting room there, but I had some things I had to wrap up. As they say, housekeeping. Thank you for waiting, and welcome to the program, Guyanese Morning Time. You can start by telling our viewers who, what, and what you represent, basically, let's see. And tell us what good messages you're bringing for us today.
Good morning to your large audience in Guyana, in the diaspora. My name is Kurt Fraser. I am a Committee of Management member of the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, and I'm here this morning to share with your viewers what we would have been doing at the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union since we would have assumed office 3 months ago. You know that this was a contentious issue before we got into office, but the members stood its ground and ensured that the people that they wish to lead the credit union is in place at present.
And so, what are the things that you have achieved that you want to share with the viewership?
Mr. Amsterdam, there's so much that I would have to probably depend on America to remind me of all the positives that the credit union is experiencing at this time. One of the things that since we would have assumed office, in the month of June alone, we would have distributed 776 loans to our members. In July, we would have even surpassed that, and we would have distributed 799 loans to our members. Bearing in mind that since we would have assumed office, many of the members are now feeling a sense of joy, feeling a sense of relief, because there was so much that is going on that was affecting the members. For example, this amount of loans within these 2 months would have probably been loans for a year in the previous administration. So we are getting the job done. We are trying to ensure that our members are satisfied and we provide a high level of service to the members. Notwithstanding the committee of management members, but I am also giving kudos this morning to the staff who is now motivated to do the work on behalf of the members of the credit union. And that is why you would have recognized that there is an uptake in terms of the amount of loans that persons are having access to. We would have made significant change in what we do at the credit union to ensure that our members are placed first and anything else after. So what you're seeing is what our vision as a team led by Mr. Trevor Ben is doing towards enhancing the outlook of the credit union and also placing the members' business as the number one priority for us at this time. So that is where we're heading. Bear in mind that this has never happened before in the history of the credit union, and that is what is taking place now. So this is the position that we're in at present. You know, since we would have assumed office also, what would have happened? We had an increase in terms of membership. Over the last 2 months, we would have processed over 1,500 applications for new membership. So what you're finding happening now is that the public servants are now feeling eager to be part of something that they can benefit. Bearing in mind that our public servants are probably at the lowest scale in terms of their remuneration as salary, and hence the credit union is the other financial institution that is there to help them to achieve many of their economic goals that they wish to pursue.
Thank you, Kirk. Someone is asking. This is a question we've asked a million times, asked and answered a million times, and that is why I must commend the current management team of the credit union for doing these public appearances, because ever so often somebody has a question that they would like answered because they did not hear the last time it was answered, and that is, can someone from the private sector join the credit union? I know it has been answered before, but certainly this person is asking has not heard that answer. Is it possible?
Unfortunately, that is not possible at this time. I think what we'd have to do, we'd have to look at the rules. We look at the rules and ask the members, because we cannot operate without isolation. The members are the backbone of the credit union. And if they feel that a public sector employee can become members, well, then so be it. But this have to go to what we have as an AGM, you know, as probably an amendment to the rule. But basically, we deal with all public circle, public service workers and not private sector workers. But it's something that the question is being asked all the time, because persons see the value in the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union at this time. Bearing in mind that at the credit union, our loans attract some of the lowest interest rate. And hence, that is why we find that lots of persons now are coming to the credit union seeking membership, because of our low interest rate that we provide and the quality of service that we are putting in place to ensure that the members are properly satisfied.
Thank you, Kirk. I personally, I must commend, well, I must ask the question, those numbers, you call some big numbers in terms of the number of loans that were given out in a month. How was it even possible to give out so many loans in a month?
Well, basically, the staff as well as the committee of management are working diligently to ensure that members are properly served. Our motto is to ensure that our members are properly satisfied and they're taken care of in terms of their financial need. So we must commend the staff who is well motivated at this time to serve the needs of the members, along with the directions and many of the policies that we're trying to tweak to ensure that our members, each member at every scale on the public service salary scale, is provided with the opportunity to access finance. For example, the lowest category, persons who earning 130 a month, is able to access a vehicle loan. In the past, I don't even think in their lifetime they would have been able to access a vehicle loan. We would have relooked at our lending policy so that we can capture every single category of members in the cooperative credit union, so that their needs could be properly addressed.
A big up indeed. I remember not so long, about 2 weeks, I was having a conversation with a young member of the credit union who was trying to achieve certain things, and went to a commercial bank and so on, and was getting difficulties. I asked, "Are you a member of the credit union?" "Yeah, man." "So why you ain't go to these people?" "Man, they just take 6 months at least to deal with these kind of things." I said that was then. My understanding it has changed now. From what I learned, the young man got through with the processing of his application and everything within a week. From midweek 1 week to midweek the next week, because I understand the committee of lending, let me call it that, had to meet and approve the applications and so on. So I want to commend, let me say that, the committee of management for the dedication and the rate of pace at which it works to disburse these loans. I want to believe it's that which is responsible for that big number of loans being disbursed so quickly, because there's some amount of efficiency. Tell us though, if you're in the private sector, you can't join the credit union. But I understand that there's a route by which non-public sector people can join the credit union, especially minors, in that if you, a member of the credit union, has a young child, they can actually become a young member of the credit union and go through the years. Somebody asked me to have that clarified.
Yes,
Give
that
some
is so true. That is so true. We would have made, as I said, as we go along, and we recognize these difficulties, we try to fix them immediately. We're having a system now where we can have young savers. Parents who are members can have their child or children sign up to be young members, and they would have those savings there. So probably, I was watching your program yesterday, and you were talking about financial planning. This is one aspect in which we are planning for our children financial future. So by the time they get to 18, they have a saving that can probably carry them through university. So our mission, our objective is to ensure that not only the members, but the members' children also benefit from the credit union. And
Great.
mind you that these disbursement comes at a time. For example, we are also in the process of helping our members. We're having the back to school loan, which persons can apply for so that we can ease the burden off of them in terms of ensuring that our members' children get what is required for them returning to school.
Can you tell us more about that back to school one? I'm sure people would be excited to know more about it.
Yeah, well, this was a product that Mr. Ben would have introduced when first became the chairman of the Cooperative Credit Union, and it would have continued, but it was not structured in such a manner that gives the opportunity for every member. What we would have done now, we would have we looked at it and examined where the fault line was, and we now address that so that every member can achieve or can borrow that $50,000 for back to school loan. So every member, they can get a copy of the loan form, they can sign it up, and we look at it and we do the disbursement. Bearing in mind that our system is in such a fast rate in terms of person collecting the money. As soon as they approve, that money is deposited to the bank account. So within days, probably within a 3 days span, members are able to access that loan. The basic requirement is that the member need to fill up the form stipulated for back to school loan, and they will have that approved at a very fast rate so that they can access the finance and ensure that his children education needs are taken care of.
What documents persons need when they're coming to apply for a loan?
Mr. Amsterdam, the credit union, we would have made significant changes. Back in time, persons had to get a number of guarantors to ensure that they cover the loan. What we would have done, we have implemented a new loan product whereby 3 to 5 persons can guarantee each other and have access to a loan up to $3 million, which they does not even require half of what the commercial banks and so on would require. All they have to provide is a copy of their 2 last pay slip, a job letter, and we take it from there, and the application form, and we take it from there. Once they have the ability to repay that money, we give the members the opportunity to borrow.
Thank you, Kirk. Let me ask you this because viewers are asking, is there any planned payout of dividends this year?
We would have started paying dividends for the last 4 to 5 months. I think that those persons who did not receive, it would be deposited into their account. But we are planning to hold our annual general meeting. And this is something that was absent for a number of years, right? So we will be having our annual general meeting because we have the audited statements that we can look at the statement so that we can come up with the dividends that we need to pay the members. On the 25th of August, we would be holding our AGM. Our AGM is very, very important because there is where the members would be apprised as to the standing of the credit union financially, the financial balance, the profits that or the profits that they would have made or the surplus that they would have made, all of that would be examined, and then we're able to come up with the dividends that persons would receive from the credit union. So this AGM that we are hosting would be held in all the 10 administrative regions across Guyana. We'll have both in person as well as virtual meeting or a virtual platform whereby persons can participate in the comfort of their homes, or if they feel pleased, they can go to one of the centers that are identified in their regions, so that we can even strengthen, because we need the members to participate in the management. They give us the mandate, and we'd have to report to them on issues or any positives that is coming out of the credit union. They would be properly that would be properly ventilated to all the members. So on the 26th of August, we will be holding that meeting across the length and breadth of Guyana. So we'd have the minutes of the last annual general meeting. We'd have the supervisor's report. We'd have the committee's report. We'd have the financial statement being presented to the members, the dividends or the net surplus, motions, and election of the committee of management supervisors again. So that is what our agenda would be centered around when we hold this annual general meeting of the Cooperative Credit Union. And mind you, by law, we're supposed to hold this every year. Unfortunately, for some reason or the other, this was absent for more than 3 years. So we're trying to ensure that the laws that govern the credit union are carefully followed.
Thank you, Kirk. It's now a minute to the 9 o'clock hour. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. We are chatting with representative of the Ghana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, Kirk Fraser. Um,
Hello?
oh, sorry. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm here, you know.
Okay, I had a problem. So if anybody missed what I was saying, listen, recognize that the Ghana Public Service Co-op Credit Union is one of your allies. Because I know I've been talking with a lot of people, especially in the public service, who have been here and been there looking for loans, whether it's for motor vehicles, whether for cars, homes, and so on, and getting frustrated because they're not meeting these quote unquote stringent requirements. Good. For me, I envy y'all. I can't go to the credit union. Y'all must check with the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union first. If you're a public servant, and I'm encouraging our people again, you have to understand how to capitalize on what you have. Use what is in your corner. Go to the
Mr.
credit.
Anthony, if I may chip in,
Yes.
Since we would have assumed office, our mortgages, we would have moved our mortgage ceiling from $15 million to $20 million. So persons can able to access, and persons don't have to put down any money or anything of the sort to access our 3% or 5% or 2% in order to access our mortgages. Once they are a member of good standing, they have access to up to $20 million based on their ability to repay that loan.
Good. And so you have to stop running around. A lot of people buying vehicles. If somebody wants to import a vehicle and save themselves about $1 million, because a friend and I, we were doing the math. On average, when you buy a vehicle from an importer, you're going to pay approximately $1 million more than if you were to import it and pay your own duties and so on. Can the credit union facilitate such transactions?
Yes, we are facilitating such transaction as we speak. Once we have the copy of the quotations and so um, on the arrival of the vehicle, what will happen is that they will have to, when we finish doing all the legal aspect of it, that original document would be lodged with the credit union. So we
Interesting.
withhold the registration and so on as the collateral to ensure that the members repay that money.
So let me get this right. I see, for example, Duke selling for 2,000 US, that is 400 Guyana dollars, costs insurance and freight to land here. I want to buy that Duke. I mean, the duties will be $800,000 when it gets to Guyana. Um, are you going to, the credit union looks at the quotation from the Japan based business
We look
and
at the total. We look at the total cost, what it would
uh,
cost you to even clear the vehicle and everything, because we're giving you a complete product. We're not
good.
giving you a half product, a complete product.
And so you pay you will do the necessary transfer of payment to the Japanese business. When the document when it gets here, then you, I want to say, take control of the original documents of the vehicle. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yes,
Good.
that is what we think.
Okay. So
So
again, I can acquire I can
it's
acquire a
very
vehicle with
easy.
zero.
Yeah,
I can
you
acquire a
get
vehicle
it
with zero.
with zero,
With zero.
absolutely nothing down. We
I'm
buy
gonna
the
look.
vehicle for you once you are able to repay that finance after we look at your salary and so on,
Uh,
and we provide that for the member.
I'm gonna look for a friend of mine that is a member of your credit union. I need a vehicle, boss.
Surely that person, because we would not operate with any form of prejudice. Once the person is a member and they have that ability to repay that loan, thumbs up,
Thank
and
you.
we're trying to expand also because what we recognize, the numbers are growing very fast. As I said to you in my opening statement, I give you what our memberships are looking like on a monthly basis. So shortly, you would see us going to those administrative regions that are very populated, and we are establishing offices in those administrative regions that takes away the burden from the center of itself. So what you would see is us trying to decentralize so that we can have even more access to our members and provide a service that would leave a lasting taste in their mouth.
Nice. A question has been asked. Can a long-standing member who lives abroad apply for a loan and get it?
Once they're a member in good standing and they show the ability to repay that money, they can. We
So
do
we
not
don't care where
operate,
you
as
live.
I
If you
said,
live in a treetop,
it doesn't matter. Once you're a
very good.
member, you have access to all the products that are available at this time. And shortly, we'll bring in on stream also our ATM, whereby members wish to draw out from their savings, they will have access via ATM to do so. So we are trying to revolutionize the cooperative credit union so that we make it more current and more accessible to our members.
Thank you. It's 6 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. If you have any closing remarks, Kirk, this might be the time to do.
Yes, Mr. Amsterdam, it's a pleasure being on your show this morning. And I, the members of the cooperative credit union, you would be more than happy with what we would have done so far as a committee of management, looking into many of the issues that they would have complained about, and we're trying to ensure that we sort out all those hiccups so that they can be properly served when they come to the cooperative credit union to do business. Quite recently, I saw my chairman walking the floors, assisting members. And these are the type of this is the type of leadership that a cooperative credit union needs at this time. We have other members, the Madam Secretary and other members, with going periodically to assist members to ensure that their business are properly taken care of. Our staff there, I can't thank them as much as we would like to, but they are doing a very good job. There's other areas in which we would like to enhance in terms of our customer services and so on. And we are working to ensure that we get all right so that our members, and I reiterate, our members are taken care of the way they expect us as leaders to take care of them.
Thank you for that closing remark. But we say last question and last question. This is the final one. Someone is asking if they can deposit a pension into their credit union account.
Sure, they can. Once they are making those they are a member, regardless of where they get their finance. Yes, the financing, once they're able to justify that the finance is legitimate, no problem with that. Right? But if they have illegitimate money, we would have to examine, we'd have to investigate to ensure that we're in compliance with the anti-money laundering laws. Right? And bear in mind that the Cooperative Credit Union is the poor people bank, if you want to see. Right?
Thank you, Clark. One of the viewers wants to tease you. Janet Elias is asking if the nice AC that you get is credit union loan. Have a good day, sir. Don't answer.
Yes. Yes.
Don't answer. Thank you, Kirk.
You're welcome. Thanks, it's a pleasure.
I wish you guys continued success over there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Happy to return shortly.
Thank you, sure. We're always welcome here. Yes,
Yeah,
folks, it's 9 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, and so it's time to wrap the program. It is always a pleasure talking with you, whether it's Friday or Monday or Tuesday, any day of the week, it's a pleasure talking with you. And I hope that really and truly we have been able to, over the last week, over the number of years, inspire you in some way, shape, or form. Good? I hope we have been an inspiration to you, and I'm encouraging you to be an inspiration to others. Let us help to liberate ourselves and liberate those around us. Good? Remember the Cash App, $CAMS TV. It's easy, $CAMS TV. The Zelle is 862-373-5187 in the name of Hewitt Donor. Good? Help us to help you, to help those who need help, and so on and so forth. So that at the end of the day, together, we can show the kind of strength and resilience that is necessary in these challenging times, with the kind of wicked and vindictive, corrupt and criminal government that we have. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Love you all. Love is the answer. Maybe it's the only answer. Bye-bye. Love for self and love for people might be the only answer. Have a good one.